Is Donald Trump illiterate? Examining the speculation. Speculation about Donald Trump's literacy has persisted for years, fueled by various incidents that suggest he may struggle with reading and writing. While there is no definitive proof that he is illiterate, numerous observations, statements, and behaviors have led critics to question his ability to engage with written materials. Trump's reluctance to read documents. One of the most recent examples of this speculation arose when Trump, during a meeting with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, reportedly asked Starmer to read aloud a letter from King Charles III instead of reading it himself.
And it is my pleasure to bring from His Majesty the King a letter. He sends his best wishes and his regards, of course, but he also asked me to bear this letter and bring it to you. So can I present the letter from the King to you?
Thank you very much. Am I supposed to read it right now?
Yeah, please do.
I will do.
I've got to tell him what your reaction is, so I need to know. I need to know.
He is a great gentleman. A great, great gentleman. Oh, that's wow. Well, that is really nice. I must make sure his signature's on that. Otherwise, it's not quite as meaningful. It is. That's quite a signature, isn't it? Beautiful. He's a beautiful man, a wonderful man, and we appreciate it. I've known him, gotten to know him very well, actually. Yeah. First term and now second term. Perhaps you'd like to say what that very important paragraph.
Yes, so this is a letter from His Majesty the King. It's an invitation for a second state visit.
This incident revived discussions about his reading habits, which have been a topic of debate for years. During a June 2016 deposition, Trump was questioned about lease agreements related to the Trump Old Post Office project.
Review this section of
What
the
does that
lease,
say?
monetary damages. This is in the remedies
I
section.
did not, no.
Okay. Would you be able to read this section and tell us what your understanding of it is?
Objection. Mr. Trump isn't a lawyer.
I mean, do you want me to read it? It's long.
It is long.
It's very long.
When asked about specific provisions, he responded, "I don't have my glasses on me. I am at a disadvantage because I didn't bring my glasses. This is such small writing."
You to read just the monetary damages section, starting at the number 1 in the middle of the page. Just there. The rest of that, and to the end of that, it continues on the next page. And tell me what you think, reading that, you as the landlord are entitled to get from the tenant in the event of a tenant breach in the way of damages.
I don't have my glasses. I mean, I am at a disadvantage because I didn't bring my glasses. This is such small writing.
All right, well, well, if the witness can't actually physically read the language,
I
that's a
mean,
problem.
it's very
but
small writing.
I also
I can make it out. Do you want me to try?
Well, we can have,
That's
you know
just
what
it.
we can do? We can have a bigger copy made of these pages.
Let
and
me
we'll
try.
come
Let me
back to
just do it.
All right, I have to place on the record a hearty objection.
Awkward. Very awkward. Insanely awkward.
These and everything else involved looks like everything in the kitchen sink to me. Then you have number 2.
Yeah. Go on.
It's to value the positive difference with the aggregate amount of the base rent and the additional rent.
This moment was one of many where he appeared to avoid reading legal or official documents himself. Trump's admission about his tweets. In a now-deleted tweet from November 23, 2010, Trump wrote, "I dictate my tweets to my executive assistant and she posts them. Time is money, the art of the deal." This statement suggests he preferred oral communication over directly typing out his social media messages. This aligns with reports that during his 2016 campaign, Press Secretary Hope Hicks would take dictation from Trump and relay his messages to staff who posted them on Twitter. While this doesn't confirm that Trump cannot read, it does add to the pattern of him avoiding written communication and relying on verbal methods instead. His trouble naming a Bible verse. Trump has repeatedly claimed that the Bible is his favorite book, yet when asked to name a favorite verse in a 2015 interview, he declined.
Okay. You mentioned the Bible. You've been talking about how it's your favorite book, and you said, I think last night in Iowa, some people are surprised that you say that. I'm wondering what one or two of your most favored Bible verses are, and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. You know, when I talk about the Bible, it's very personal, so I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into.
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite?
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Even to cite a verse that
you
like?
No, I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal. I think it's just an incredible.
This response led to speculation that he might not have deep familiarity with the text. Later in April 2016, he did cite an eye for an eye as a verse that resonated with him, which drew criticism from religious scholars since Jesus directly opposed that teaching in the New Testament. Pete Davidson's SNL story. Comedian Pete Davidson once claimed that during Trump's 2015 hosting of Saturday Night Live, he allegedly faked a phone call during a script reading, possibly to avoid having to read out loud. Davidson suggested that Trump struggled with reading and did not want others to notice.
So he's like, he doesn't really know how to read.
For real?
Yeah. So during like the table read, he like, before like we were gonna read before he had to read each line, and he's the host, so he's at everything.
Yeah.
He would go, I'm not gonna say this. I think I'm gonna say it the way I want to say it. Is that okay? Is that okay, Lauren? Is that everything? Is that all right? And everybody's like, what? And then this is my favorite part is there was a sketch that we wrote where he's at Disneyland with his daughter, and the line is, all right, let's get out of here. Turkey legs? Like, let's go get turkey legs? And he doesn't know how to read. So he went, all right, let's get out of here, turkey legs. He called his daughter turkey legs.
While this was a comedic anecdote, it added to the growing public perception that Trump avoids reading whenever possible. Spelling mistakes and literacy concerns. Trump's social media posts have frequently contained spelling errors, further fueling speculation about his literacy. Some of his most infamous typos include unprecedented instead of unprecedented, kavfif, an apparent misspelling of coverage, WH council instead of WH council, no challenge to great instead of too great, and tap my phones instead of tap my phones. While typos are common on social media, the frequency and nature of these errors have led some to wonder whether Trump struggles with spelling or proofreads what he writes. Tony Schwartz claims Trump never read his own book. Tony Schwartz, Trump's ghostwriter for The Art of the Deal, has repeatedly claimed that Trump likely never read the book that bears his name. In an interview, Schwartz stated, I seriously doubt that Trump has ever read a book straight through in his adult life, including his own. Schwartz also claimed that Trump had a short attention span and little interest in written material, preferring instead to engage in verbal discussions or watch television. Mark Fisher's report on Trump not reading. In the biography Trump revealed, co-author Mark Fisher asked Trump if he had ever read a presidential biography.
He was preparing to possibly be president, and are you reading the great presidential biographies, for example? And he paused for an unusually long time. His voice became almost tender, and he said, you know, I've never read a biography, but I've always wanted to. So I pressed a little harder, and I said, well, how are you preparing? How will you make decisions as president? And he said, well, I'm not going to be reading any big reports or anything like that. And he told me the story of how a guy from Wall Street came to him, wanted him to make a deal in China, and said there was an innovative kind of financing that he wanted Trump to consider. And so Trump said, well, I don't know anything about that. And the guy said, no problem, we've done some research, I have a report, I'll send it to you today. And Trump said, don't send me any blanking reports. And
conclusion, is Trump illiterate, While there is no definitive proof that Donald Trump is illiterate, there is substantial evidence suggesting that he avoids reading whenever possible. His reliance on verbal communication, difficulty naming a Bible verse, refusal to read documents in court, spelling errors, and reports from insiders all contribute to the ongoing speculation. Whether Trump simply prefers oral communication or genuinely struggles with literacy remains an open question. But his history of avoiding written materials continues to fuel the debate. This is BWM News. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell icon to stay up to date with all our latest news, controversies, and trending stories.